the horizontal lunar eclipse and used footage from New Mexico, and I believe it was December 12th, 2011. Anyhow, he's talking about that. And no, the Silulian horizontal lunar eclipse 100% matches the model of the globe with an atmosphere because refraction exists. Remember, it is exactly the diameter of the sun and the moon. 0.52 degrees is the magic of refraction, just enough to bring it above the horizon. I don't think you're understanding the geometry completely. What's your issue with it? The fact that the sun and moon are both visible above the horizon during totality, or the orientation of the shadow? Both work just fine in our model. Well, see, he's deflecting again. He knows exactly what it is. We went at this ad nauseam. Look at my reply. Did you find a waxing gibbous phase that rose after sunset, Paul? I know you claimed to find one from a dude in Florida. He did. He actually sent me a guy's video from YouTube claiming that the waning gibbous moon rose before sunset, but he had his time or his date wrong. Anyway, I said that was the refracted waning gibbous before sunset that you offered as a proof refraction wasn't selective. 100%, where's the proof? I'll go ahead and use your name and email in the video you claim I'm being coy about. Get tired of these ball earthers I call curveballers attempting to give me trash arguments. Where's Halley's Comet? Where does that go on the flat earth? Where's it disappear to? And all these other arguments. And I put this up as 1,000% proof. I told many in emails, this is proof your heliocentric model is a lie out of the pit of hell. And this here footage is from the Exploratorium, San Francisco. Been working with NASA for over 25 years, I think. This is a family that filmed it from Monument Valley. I've got a similar looking film. These two videos are 20 miles apart. But the diehard curveball Earth believers tell me that these people here that had multiple cameras set up actually had them all rotated and they weren't set up correctly. Otherwise, it would look like this. He claims this footage is correct because it matches mine, and I showed him my setup, so he can't claim my video was crooked. But to maintain the illusion that the Earth is curved and that's the only reason for it to move around, he has to claim anything real close together can't be right if it's rotated. So these people, these professionals, set their cameras up incorrectly. But the problem is if you give any rotation at all and the sunspots rotate along with the moon, that proves the firmament because an open air sky vacuum can't account for this, folks. They wouldn't rotate the same amount. This much closer orb should move more than the sun rotating. See? Got to question these stories we're being told. When they put all this together, they never dreamed of a day that people could record this stuff from multiple locations. So they didn't think their lie would ever get exposed. I put this video up, screenshot for him to nail him down because I've investigated this since 2017 as far as the total solar eclipse goes. And when it comes to the eclipses, the path, whichever side of the center line of the path you video it, doesn't matter how far apart you are. You go from one side to the other, the whole thing rotates. The sunspots prove the whole thing rotates, which nixes the idea of one orb being 250,000 miles away and the other being 90 million miles away. If you focus on this video here, you see the sunspots. But I'm asking him, which ones do you think were not wrong because he claimed the images, the people taking the video, they rotated their camera. The objects themselves didn't rotate because otherwise he has to admit there is a firmament because there's no amount of curvature going to cover that when you're 5 miles apart, which these two here are. You've got these three in the north of the center line and me 5 miles south of the center line. 5 miles apart from these two here. So therefore he has to claim all three of these images are wrong from three different people, hundreds of miles apart. They all set their camera up by the same actual degree, and he's claiming these people at the exploratorium have their camera mounted sideways, and that's why it's crooked. And then they set up these other two cameras to match this crooked one. That's the depth that these curveballers go to hang on to their lie. And then they want to act like they're open-minded and they're looking into stuff, but they're not. So here's what out of those images, the only one that he said was a real image was the one from Odessa, from Time and Date. All the other ones from, reputable news outlets, these independent people, they're all wrong. And he claimed this one here, which was south, similar to my video, that's true. Okay? But everything else is wrong because that belies his model. So I wanted to go through an older proof that I sent him that, again, he gives the same argument. Trusted sources are somehow wrong again. If you know anything about our model, this is why these things will never be done at a full-scale AutoCAD motion model that we could get a FOIA request and download. Only in cartoon format, because at full scale, this stuff doesn't work. Allow me to show you an example. We always see the moon rise in the east, set in the west, but in reality, they put it so far out in space so that they can claim with mathematics it really goes west to east, but it only looks like it's going east to west. That is so they can cover the fact that most every eclipse goes from west to east. Sure, they go sometimes from south to north or from north to south, but they start out in the west and go to the east. And I'll show you an exception later that proves that wrong. But only on the flat earth do you figure this stuff out when you question what they're telling you. I'm going to show you this video from the December 10th, 2011 total lunar eclipse. Here's the path. Now, up is north, so the moon is going this direction. Pull up this map, meaning that before it disappears in this video, see it's getting dark? They claim it disappears because it's in the shadow of the earth. Back here when it gets full, which would mean at the point that we're seeing it in the video, it's a waxing gibbous moon, which means it's more than half the radius of the earth on the dark side. Now they only claim a 0.52 degree of refraction for both the sun and the moon because they appear the same size, and this is how they explain away the solillian, I don't know how you pronounce that. The lesser known term is horizontal lunar eclipse. See, it's the dark area level with the horizon. Anyhow, we'll step through this and I'll show you as it completely disappears above the horizon. Now they try to tell us that really it's behind the earth. What we're looking at is it refracted up. Again, when it completely disappears, that's the time that our model says it's completely behind right here. So you're looking at a waxing gibbous moon with the sun rising in the east. The only time you ever film that or see that is before sun setting in the west. See this? These are waxing gibbous moon phases. .org, December 9th. Look at the moon rose, 1620. Okay. Now, when did it set? Sunset at 16:55. On the 9th, it rose. See that? You can see this is a 99.6, so it's a waxing gibbous moon on the 9th, people. Rising when the sun is setting in the west. That's what gibbous moons always do. Rose at 16:20, sunset at 7:02. Now let's go over here to the 10th, when the lunar eclipse occurs. Moonrise at 7:11. Sunset 16:55. Okay, so that dictates it's a full moon. See, right here, full moon. This doesn't correlate to your ball earth model. That means that story don't fly. So what's the curveballer claim? Oh no, the trusted sources all got it wrong. Time and date as well, see? 7:36 total lunar eclipse. That's when it occurred. That's when it disappeared. See? See the little sliver there? It's disappearing when the sun's coming up. But it doesn't match their model. All earthers have to claim the trusted sources are all wrong. Wake up from the lies, people. I've often told people on my channel here that the truth is hidden in the details or omissions and obfuscations. When they show you things like this rotation of the bite on the disk of the sun, and they never talk about it. They go into Bailey's beads or balls, diamond ring effect, or if you look at it before totality, you'll damage your eyes. But they will never, ever talk about why it rotates from one side to the other. Never. There's several iterations of this video where they talk in great detail. Got some of them posted in different playlists on my channel. And not once will they ever describe why it rotates. They show it to you and move on. Anything that doesn't correlate to their well-crafted lie, they just omit it. So in those anomalies is where you find the truth. And you notice how the path goes from west to east. Yes, some of them go in a northerly or southerly direction, but always from the west to the east. I just was looking for anomalies. So I thought annular eclipses near the furthest point from the sun, right? Because they have to move the moon in and out to compensate. And when I did that, I pulled up this here. Very strange. Don't see many of these. Only seen this as my second one, so I wanted to go into detail on why that was. Knowing the Earth is flat and this continent is not real made me question it. See how they've got showing the map here from the South Pole? They never do that. They always have the area, even if it's right at the edge, they'll show it with the North Pole up here. So that's a bit sus. And I tried to find the interactive maps. They always have these interactive maps, but it's blank. I'm like, wow, that is very strange. See here, all your maps. I've clicked on every one of them. They do not have that map, the interactive map showing you the path. Blank. So knowing how these nassholes, as I call them, love to hide the truth that would belie their model, I wanted to dig into it a little deeper. And look what I discovered here. Do you see when it starts, they've got the latitude and longitude? I go over here and look here. You see where I'm at? 76, 137. And we come down here, 82, 148. 82 and 148. See where we're going? Look at this, people. This one here, this path is going east to west. Opposite of what they all do, right? But since that continent isn't really there, it's the edge of the flat earth, we should see some things that they don't want us to see. Just to further elaborate on this path from 1972, January 16th up here. See, at 10:30, it's at 51 south, 148 west. Right down here at the bottom, 78, 148. '78, 148. When it starts on the east side, 10:30. Now at 11:35, before it ends, it's at 56, 111. Way up here toward the end. Started here, went there, east to west. The Bible clearly states, if you seek, you find. Well, given the earlier information from 1972, I started seeking. Now let me show you what I found. In case those curveballers out there want to dream that it was just some anomaly. Look at this, 60, 42, 41 at 708. Right there. That's where she starts. 76, 46. 76, 46. Right there. That's a 734. '73, 133. Right there. Near the end. Again, clear proof moving east to west. Near the edge of the flat earth. In case there's any diehard curveballers out there, I want to say, of course, the path always goes east to west in the southern hemisphere. It only travels west to east in the northern hemisphere. Well, here's proof that's not true. Dream up a news story. Here we go, curveballers. 1:15, 16 at 14:40 hours, near the start. 16, 1:15, near the start. Southern Hemisphere, 40:67. 40:67 at 16:14. 32 south, 10 west. Back to the table. 32, 9. 1746. So they do go west to east in the southern hemisphere, except when you get near the edge. Starts out, see the red? Starts out as an annular. The blue is the total part. Then it changes back to an annular. From my investigation, that's pretty typical. Sometimes it starts as a total, stays that way, and then ends as an annular, or vice versa. What I want you to pay attention to is the map here showing it going right across the North Pole. Unlike the South Pole, where it travels east to west on the path, up here near the center of the flat earth, it still goes west to east. Look right here for your proof at 2240. 1909, 61 degrees north, 98 east. $61.98 starts there. Greatest eclipse, 81 north, 21 east. 81 121 right there at 23:16 at greatest eclipse. And they show it going off the ball Earth there. I don't know why, but come over here and grab another point. 75 north, 60 west. 75 and 60 right there. At 23:56 toward the end. Wake up from the lies, curveballers. You don't live on a ball. It's a flat plane. And the details that they try to obfuscate prove it to you. Exhaustive as possible in my research for the diehard curveballers that like to dream up any excuse possible to stick to the fake ball Earth heliocentric model. As Brother FEB says, I will show you that in the north, everywhere except for the edge near the south, on the flat earth, that's the edge of the earth, those always go east to west. But up here near the North Pole, they always do what they do everywhere else. Okay, 55:27, right here. 55:27. Kind of looks like it's going in outer space on this globe-tarb map. Anyhow, at 9:20, 55:27, where the 2015 March total eclipse begins. And we go back to greatest duration, 64:6. So we'll go down somewhere in the middle. 64:6, greatest duration right there. Again, going west to east, people. Now, near the end, 77 north, 12 east. Down near the bottom, 77:12 at 10:10. Wake up, where they show South Pole at the top here. Very weird. They normally don't do that on these maps, so that drew my attention to something potentially goofy. Again, in case all the diehard curveballers out there want to act like the other examples were mere mistakes, let's do it one more time, showing you that the path down here at the bottom of the ball Earth doesn't correlate to any other path near the middle or the top, North Pole. Those, the realm where you really live. Look, starts out 71 south, 74 east. That's the greatest duration. That's what that GD means. Look at that, 71, 74. Now, greatest eclipse happens at 71 south, 22 west. 71:22 at 1930. Now you know why, Pulster X, they don't model this at scale. It breaks down because it's wrong. It doesn't work. That's why you'll never see a full-scale model, only cartoons. You can't do a FOIA request on cartoons. There's no information to be had there. The real information they disguise in plain sight.